Welcome back to Risque Business News. I'm your host, Laura.
And I'm May.
And today we have a serious podcast alert. Serious pod. We're talking about the death of CashApp founder Bob Lee.
Yes.
Very sad.
Very recent as well. It happened the other day.
Yeah.
From
it's
when we're
still
recording right
live.
now,
We're
anyway.
still getting more information on it. So we'll be talking about that. Enjoy.
Where's the money? I don't understand how you make money
Hold
from
on.
that, though.
2 stand-up comics in New York City.
Just learned a lot of this stuff. I'm going to ask all the stupid questions that you might be thinking at home, but are afraid to ask people.
Making it to where you feel like you're too stupid to be able to ever engage in it, they win.
Why the fuck are they doing this?
It's to make money. It's Risque Business News.
All right. So yeah, light, fluffy, just talking about the demise of San Francisco, potentially.
I mean, listen, hey, we have to talk about it. It's interesting and it's kind of fucking nuts, dude. And when I first saw that this happened, and I know we'll get into it, but when I first saw that this happened, my immediate thing was that he was set up or it was intentional.
Yeah, definitely.
Because obviously there's been like 1,000,001 of these Bitcoin people that have gone missing and all this crazy stuff. It's really wild.
Yeah, we're also going to kind of go through some of the, I have literally 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. Oh, God. Like 10 different Bitcoin millionaires that were also died relatively mysteriously that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
So we'll go through that as well. But definitely emphasis on, my boy Bob. I love him.
I don't know anything about him outside of
I didn't
his
know him
death.
before, except for when I was reading about him. I was like, oh, he sounds great.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk about some other stuff. Charlie Javice. Do you remember her?
I do. Famously did the scam of student loans, right?
Yeah. So if you are a fan of the show or have listened to past episodes and hate us, one or the other, listen, I'm not going to judge as long as you're listening. You will remember the episode where we talked about the startup Frank, which was the college financial planning platform. And it was sold to JP Morgan Chase for $175 million.
With an M.
With an
yes. And she was lying about how many people were actually using the service. Isn't that the whole thing?
Yeah. So she just got arrested because of, back in the couple months ago, it came out there was this case from JPMC who was like, hey, you sold us this company that has whatever, all of these different users. And you said it had I think 300,000 users. Or no, you said it had 4.25 million users. It's a lot. And it turns out it has 300K, which is less.
It's less.
Risque business math right there. That's not as much.
I think those metrics are they're even lower than what you were talking about. I thought it was something egregious, like 25,000 or something.
I think the actual, it's depending on what the, no, I remember what you're talking about because it was what you considered an active user. Was it someone who's ever logged into the platform?
Yeah.
Or that's fully utilized the service to get their student loan debt, handled or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she basically lied about the whole thing. If you remember from that past episode, she actually did. She's pretty ballsy. You got to give it to her to an extent. But she hired a data scientist when JPMC was trying to buy them. And she gave them a list of information, was like, hey, can you just use an algorithm to make 4.25 million records that would kind of visually look at it. If someone pops it open, it just kind of scrolls. They're
right.
And there's this full exchange with her, going back and forth and giving notes and stuff. And the guy just being I don't know. And she paid him no money. I think at the end of the day, she also bought another list of data. The total amount that she paid to get all this fraudulently created data together was $105,000. Nothing. And then she made $45 million.
Holy
and
shit.
became an employee of JP Morgan.
Listen, you got to spend money to make money,
You gotta,
right?
that's a good ROI. She's an investing genius right
You
here.
gotta commit fraud to be a fraudster.
Yeah.
That's the Risque Business guarantee.
I mean, mostly you just have to have these beautiful blue eyes. Look at her. She's crushing it.
She
She's
is.
very pretty.
So do you
And
think she'll
I think
go
she
to
just kind of
jail?
yes.
Okay.
I think she is going. I mean, I don't know how good her lawyer is. We'll find out, I guess. But she has been officially arrested and charged with official one count of conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud, one count of wire fraud affecting a financial institution. I love that that's like a special thing,
Right.
Versus what? Wire fraud. 1 count of bank fraud. These all sound like the same
Exactly.
fucking thing. 1 count of securities fraud. Okay. 3 of those charges each carry a maximum sentence of 30 years in prison. 30
Oh my God.
each.
Wow.
So, like, worst case scenario, I guess she's looking at 90 years, and she's 31. So, bye.
R.I.P. Oh my
She won't get
God.
that.
No, that's outrageous.
I don't think she'll get that.
Yeah.
She was also famously, as if you remember, on the Forbes 30 under 30.
As they all are.
2019. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if you're not, like, what are you even doing? Me. I should quit. And she was arrested Monday night in Jersey and I think spent the night, and then in Tuesday she went to Manhattan to the federal court where she placed
Spent the night where? In jail?
I guess.
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming they
In
held her somewhere.
Rikers?
Rikers. They took her straight to Rikers. Rikers, like, that's like a really maximum security
It's like
one.
a prison. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She probably not.
Yeah.
She probably went to like a place nicer than most apartments. Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest. And they posted a $2 million bond on Tuesday to get her out. So she's out and about. Maybe she'll do the pod.
That would be amazing.
Official invite. Come on in and ruin your legal case. But yeah, she's probably gonna go to jail for like 6 seconds. Like, it'll probably be like 4 Mississippis in jail. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3, 4, and we're out. And we're out. Back to Sweet Green.
Sounds
All right.
harrowing.
She's like, is my salad ready yet? I was gone really. I just had to do jail for a second.
I had Sweet Green for the first time in a long time today. Can I tell you this right now? Right
Yep.
here in this
Yes,
room?
you can.
My stomach hurts after I eat Sweet Green every single time.
Every single time. Something's
Something's up.
Bombastic side eye.
Yeah.
Sweet Green.
Bombastic side eye. For real, though.
Like, no, I know exactly what you mean. It's also, it feels like you're eating a 1,000 calorie salad.
I think you are.
I think you are. I think it's like sprayed in like oils or
Yeah.
something.
Well, that's the other thing. I went on a Sweet Green kick, and I was spending outrageous sums of money, by the way.
It is not even.
Anyway, I was like having Sweet Green for lunch for a really long time. I don't even, like a few years ago, and I like gained like 10 pounds. And I was like,
No
what
way.
the fuck? Not really 10, but like,
But like, still.
I gained weight. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm eating
It's
salad
illegal.
every
I'm eating
day.
a stupid fucking salad.
Stupid
TM. We haven't
fucking
done a
salad.
stupid fucking salad trademark in a while.
We haven't, I feel like I have been eating less salad actually.
I have too.
And I feel great about that.
You want to know what I ate today? And I'm worried. Want to know this? I just ate poke, which is delightful.
Yeah.
However, I realized once I completed eating the poke that it had been sitting out for 4 hours.
Oh, that's fine.
It's raw fish. It was room temperature raw fish.
Well, hopefully you
Listen, folks, you better watch to the end of this podcast because things might get squirrely. I was
They might get
halfway
spicy.
through and I was like, oh no,
How's your stomach?
it's okay right now, but we'll find out.
God bless.
I'm gonna start. You just see me like sweating.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. I was on a pokey kick for a while too. I have a lot of kicks
Yeah.
with food. Okay. Anyway, so that she's going to prison.
She's going to prison.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Enjoy that. I think she'll be there for like 45 seconds ish.
Probably go in there, play some squash, and get the fuck out of there.
She's like, I'm playing pickleball in here, and honestly, couldn't be happier.
Yeah. We got to play pickleball
We
together.
gotta play pickleball.
Good times.
Yeah. I've never played, but I've heard it's all the rage.
Oh. It's the thing to do right now. It's like the cool thing to do. Is play
My friend
pickleball.
Andrea always said that we should open a pickleball bar. And I
Yeah.
said, Andrea, no. And now it's 100% correct.
Yeah.
We absolutely should have. I would have had enough money to maybe be Forbes 30 under 30, but probably not. Maybe I would have had enough money to like die mysteriously like a crypto billionaire
That would be, wow.
off pickleball money. The
That's a lot of
dream.
money.
It's the dream. No. But
Maybe
instead,
this podcast will get so successful that we'll have to die mysteriously.
no, one can hope.
And then we'll just go to the island that all the celebrities are at that we think are dead.
Wait, which one is that?
I'm just joking. I'm
Oh,
saying
okay.
like Michael Jackson.
I was
and all
like,
those
the
people.
thing is nowadays though, you could be like 100%. You're like, oh no, we all think that they all at the specific island. I'd be like, oh yeah, well,
Yeah, probably.
yeah. I didn't see that Reddit thread, but like, I believe you.
Oh, I believe it without any proof.
Oh yeah. So let's get into the man of the hour, the late Crazy Bob Lee. Crazy Bob was his LinkedIn and Twitter handle. And that's kind
Oh,
of
that is really cute.
He's such a personality.
Crazy Bob.
Former chief technology officer of Square, who helped launch Cash App, has died after an apparent stabbing attack in San Francisco. God damn it.
Crazy. And
Look
it was
how
like
handsome he is. Come on.
and the stabbing was where in San Francisco?
We'll talk a little bit more about specifically that. It's in Rincon Hill, which I was asking my friend who, actually our hairdresser, about it because she like used to live there, went to school there.
Yeah.
And she was like, "That's a fake neighborhood. That like's not one of the original neighborhoods."
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay."
It's like Dime Square or whatever.
Yeah. The shit where you're like, "I don't stop telling me that." But it's right near the bridge.
Okay.
And it's a nice area. We'll talk more about it. But like, first of all, this guy's from St. Louis. He's adorable. Everyone said he was a really, really good guy. He moved to the Bay Area in 2004 to work at Google. So like fucking canonical tech dude. I
Yeah.
feel like that's right when everyone was really, isn't that like right when it kind of started?
Yeah, 2004 was the big one.
That was like right at the beginning
Yeah.
when we were all like, oh my God, a campus for work?
They play ping pong?
They
now,
have-
now we play pickleball.
They have free Sweet Green?
Yeah.
Why are they getting so big?
Holy shit.
No, Sweet Green wasn't around then. He was a web developer before this for Southeast Missouri State University and a consultant at several companies. He went to Silicon Valley where he like did really, really, really well. So obviously he was at Google. Then he joined Square as its CTO in 2014, where he helped launch Cash App and MobileCoin in 2021 as its chief product officer.
Damn.
We know. Do you use Cash App?
I don't actually.
Apparently it's the biggest one.
Really?
Do you know that?
Maybe like internationally? Because I feel like Venmo is what most people use.
I think Venmo might just be like our crew, like our demographic or whatever.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
More. I think Cash App is a little bit more widely used because apparently I didn't look. Like, don't at me Venmo, but apparently Cash App has just like much more broad usage across the country.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I also think that some businesses take Cash App.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
Point is, it was people said he was the founder of it on a lot of the articles. They said that he was a founder of it. And then I went on the fucking Wikipedia yesterday. When I went on the Wikipedia, it said he was the founder. And then today, some fucking idiot went and modified it, and they took it off and said there's no indication that he actually founded Cash App.
Oh my God.
So it's probably like one of those.
So it's like employee number 2.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things where like, yeah, exactly. Some like petty engineer there was like, well, actually,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
According to my calculations.
he actually didn't found it, and I'm gonna choose the moment of his fucking death to really bring that back up, to be like, well,
Yeah.
on a technicality, no, he didn't.
Right.
He founded this app, which eventually was moved by a full team. Let's go with he founded Cash App.
Right. Okay.
We'll
Great.
give him it. Obviously, an extremely influential app. Even if you don't use it, you almost certainly know what it is. And then Square noticeably owned by Jack Dorsey.
Yes. So let me ask you this. I mean, was it like a freak accident? Like, is there footage of it released, or like what's
Oh yes,
going on here?
We will go into it. Don't you
Okay.
worry. I have a little bit more background on him first, though. Before we have to honor
yeah.
honor him.
Yes, we do.
He's an angel investor in several companies, including SpaceX, Clubhouse, LOL, Tile, Figma, that was a big one, Fair, Orchid, Addressable, don't know them, Nana, Ticket Fairy, Godwalla, Aisha, Cyfox, NetSwitch, and Found. He probably would have invested in this podcast if we asked him.
I would think so.
Looks like he was pretty liberal.
Man.
And his death was confirmed by MobileCoin, which is what he worked for, notably a cryptocurrency and digital payment startup. He left. He didn't live in San Francisco.
I know. He was living in Miami, right?
Yeah, he had moved to Miami because, I guess, of safety concerns. I didn't really...
What?
I know. I didn't see that, like, verified, like, many places. So I'm like the fucking Wikipedia editor. I'm like, well, actually, it was never directly cited, the safety concerns. But I think it was just, like, the way of life also. It was, like, it's very popular for a reason. Miami's got, like, a lot of, like, that early Bay Area vibe to it right now.
Yeah, true.
Allegedly. I say that like I've, like... When I go down there, I'm in South Beach at a club.
Yeah.
That's the Miami I know.
I'm twerking and I'm drunk.
I'm on a beach in a little bikini. And everyone's like, you should have some more stupid fucking salads, lady. That's my experience in Miami, but apparently it's a tech hub too, okay?
Wait, so that is something to be explored, that he left San
Yeah.
Francisco for safety measures. Like,
I know,
what
but-
are you talking about?
Well,
How, from who, what?
I think a lot of people are doing that. And
Really?
I mean, have you been to San Francisco in a while?
I have. So I went to San Francisco a few weeks ago, actually, to see my friends Vince and
Oh,
Jordan.
that's right.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel like we were just in some really nice areas. We did go through the Mission at one point. There was like, there was, unhoused, as they're saying,
Oh, yeah.
unhoused people, all everywhere. But so is fucking 6th Avenue in New York. So I was just sort of like, it's
Okay.
fine.
So
I did not feel like it was like this hellscape that it's been portrayed as. But again, I think that I was going to nice restaurants. I was doing the thing. I was
Ubering.
Ubering, driving.
Like that's the key. You don't walk around, I guess.
But
I love San Francisco. I've spent so much time there growing. We went to many swim meets there and dual meets and stuff like that.
It's a really cool place. Beautiful place.
Yeah, it's like one of the most iconic American cities. But so point is, he moved to Miami. Part of the reason I think is he was divorced and his ex-wife lived in San Francisco with their 2 kids. So he moved to Miami and was like a weekend dad. We don't know this, but likely that's why he was there, was to probably see them. Yeah.
The trauma those kids are going to, I mean,
know.
Period, point blank, but
I know.
quite a lot to unpack. How old are his kids?
I don't know. There wasn't a ton of info on them. I think in the 10 range. I don't think they're old. I feel like if they were older, then we'd kind of know more about them.
Right.
I don't think they were newborns or anything like that, because he had apparently, when he decided to move to Miami, his mom had just died in 2019, older.
Yeah.
And he moved in with his dad, and they moved to Miami.
Sweet. Oh, that's
and
nice.
his dad said this most the saddest shit on Facebook about him. He said he had moved to California with Bob after his mother died, and we recently relocated to Miami in October 2022. Life has been an adventure with 2 bachelors living together, and I'm so happy that we were able to become so close these last few years.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And he said, Bobby worked harder than anyone, was the smartest person I've ever known. He was missed by all that knew him. Thank you to those who reached out and support.
Wow.
So I mean, I'm sure everyone has their dark side and stuff like that, but just on the surface, Twitter was full of people just being super fucking supportive.
Yeah.
And then also super angry about why did this happen? What is going on in this city? So what happened? Let's talk about the actual details. I'm sorry that this is a bit gruesome, but that's the world for you. Okay. So sorry, we're adults here. So at 2:30 on Tuesday, so I guess what was that, April 4th?
Yeah, AM or PM?
AM.
Okay.
He was walking in Rincon, I might be mispronouncing that, a neighborhood on the edge of the bay, and he was walking alone. There's maybe he was working late. Maybe apparently there had been a Warriors game the night before, so there was potentially it could have been at that. Who knows? There's no implication that he was
So nobody knows
fucked
who he.
up.
Wait a
or
minute.
anything.
So nobody knows who he was with or why he was out?
At least not publicly.
Wow.
I know. I'm sure the cops know a ton more.
Yeah.
And it's probably, maybe even by the time this podcast comes out, maybe there'll be more details on what was up?
Yeah.
Well, was he out alone?
Right. It feels like he was coming from a party. He was doing, it's 2:30 in the fucking morning.
Yeah, it was a Tuesday, but
No, but still, I mean, why would you
something.
be out walking around on the street at that time?
I don't know.
You
And
know what
that
I
was a lot of people were like, well, what was he doing out so late? And it's at the end of the day, even if he is fucked up,
Who
God
cares?
forbid.
Who gives a shit if he's fucked up? I just want to know who he was with before.
Yeah, I
What's
know.
their
I want to know.
fucking
I want to have
alibi?
some eyes on him.
And also, why the fuck would he be even walking, take an Uber?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
Maybe he just wanted some air.
No.
He was stabbed twice in the chest.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Big ass.
With a knife?
Yeah. My friend, so I was talking to this, the lady who, she has a friend that's still over there, and she was saying yeah, there's a guy who lives on, I paid $2,500 for this apartment, and there's a guy who lives on the block who just walks around with a machete.
What?
What the fuck is that, San Francisco?
Oh my God.
I'm going to go ahead and say, if you're strict on anti-gun, you shouldn't have machetes. Let's just throw them in.
Yeah.
No walking around with an open out machete.
This is an aside, and listen, we're this is sort of like a one-off podcast for us where we're kind of going into true crime more so than business, I would say right now. I mean, sort of, kind of.
It's linked, but yeah.
It's linked. But so have you ever heard the story of the person with the machete on a, I think it was like a Fenghua bus?
No.
Do you know what the Fenghua bus
Wait,
is?
are those really cheap buses that take you to like DC or whatever?
Yep. Or like New York to Boston, whatever.
Yeah, it's like $15 or something insane.
Yeah, I used to take them all the time. Whew, the people would be like making hibachi in the back, and I'm like, on like a portable grill. I'm like, this is insane.
You're like, how much? Can I get some?
Yeah, hell yeah. But
throw the shrimp. Can you throw the shrimp at me?
I feel like when I was younger, I would have to go back to Boston even more frequently than I do now.
Yeah.
One thing you gotta know about me is that I'm going to Boston
Any given weekend. Maybe I'm in Boston. Oh, okay.
But anyway,
that's 4 hours away. It's like it's far.
If you're a booker, please book me. While I'm
Yeah,
in
she's
Boston.
literally just gonna submit avails.
Great. Yeah, I'll just submit avails. I'll be there. So, whatever. But I would take these Fenghua buses, and there was a story. I think it was like, I want to say like early 2000s or maybe like 2010 or something like that, where a guy was on the bus with a machete and he started murdering people. And the bus driver obviously pulled over, and he literally
Obviously.
Yeah. Well, dude, these buses are crazy, man. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Is like, we got a schedule to keep to.
We gotta get to Toronto.
Let someone handle it. My shift is over after this. Is someone gonna handle the machete guy?
That is so morbid. So they pulled over this fucking bus, and people are obviously like screaming, getting out of there.
Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah.
He ended up decapitating someone, and then he held the head out the window.
What?
Yeah. It sounds like a creepypasta, but I swear to God, it's a real story that happened.
Oh my God. That
And then-
really lightens this one up quite a bit.
Yep. And then
it could be worse.
Oh my God.
Fuck. I don't know what to tell you.
He obviously went to prison, and I think there was like a few years ago, or it must have been, I guess it was longer than early 2000s, but he was going to be maybe moved to like a mental facility, and there was all these petitions. It was like, no, he decapitated my fucking husband or whoever.
Yeah.
It was like, we're not doing this.
The Fenghua bus has always tainted as a result.
Yeah. There was also, the RIPTA in
Rhode Island Public Transport
Yep.
Association.
Yes.
Oh, I know. That's a fake. It's fake. It's not real.
I've taken it.
There's no. I feel like they always were like, yeah, we're going to North Kingstown. No, you're not. Never once have I seen you drive into the border of North Kingstown.
So
RIPTA was only real for Providence. Other than that, it was
Yeah.
like, go fuck yourself, Rhode Island. We're like, okay.
that's true. So anyway, my sister was on the RIPTA once, and a guy had a machete, and she was like, okay, this is the first and last time I'm going to take the RIPTA. Thank you.
Yep. I can get that. Yeah, machetes really feel like we should have a closer eye on those.
There's absolutely no reason why anybody should have a gun or a machete out in the street. Thank you. That's my
or
contradictory stance.
Or just like we should have an eye on, like, you should just be able to kind of like take a look at someone and be like, hey, are you crazy? And they're like, and if they pause, no machete. No machete.
I don't know. I think I have a full on no machete no matter what stance.
I used to also be like so much more liberal, or I guess technically conservative, like being like everyone should be able to get like what they want and stuff like that. But then you have machete guy down the street, and I'm like, well, not him though.
No.
So how do I discriminate? I think is what I'm looking for.
Right.
Which is also bad. Also bad. Listen, I'm not telling you I have answers. I'm just complaining. I do have
What would
complaints.
be the practical use of a machete other than cutting a fucking like butchering?
Gardening?
Gardening?
Yeah, like technically, like, isn't that what they originally were for?
I don't know. I thought they were like samurai swords used in battle. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I think that's samurai swords.
Okay.
I think that no, I think what you're thinking of is samurai swords.
That's a good
Yeah,
call.
listen, I have no actual answers here because in principle, if I'm trying to buy a machete, I'm buying a machete. Do you know what I mean?
I guess.
But
I mean, sorta.
I would be so mad if I like all of a sudden wanted one and someone said I can't have one.
Are you serious? I wouldn't
I
care
would be
at all.
mad. I would be mad.
Yeah.
What if I needed it?
For
I
your
don't know
gardening?
what. For my garden. For my bamboo forest that I'm gonna grow. But then at the same time, I'm also like, no more. We gotta.
Yeah, we're done here.
Anyway, so I can't. All right, moving on. But point is, this guy had it wasn't even a machete. It was a knife. So no knives either.
Wow.
No, we need knives. There is no answers. We should have better mental health facilities for crazy people. I think that's what it all comes down to. But this guy was walking. So Bob was walking alone. He was stabbed twice in the chest. This part is really, really dark. So he called 911. Obviously, there are, by the way, there are videos. We don't have them publicly yet, so we might have more information on if this was foul play or not. Honestly, by the time this podcast comes out.
It was foul play, but just was it premeditated or not? Yeah.
I'm like, was it murder? Did he do one of these himself? I shouldn't even laugh, but it's a little funny. It's not. Okay, so he walked up to a car that was there for help.
What do they do? Just speed
They drove away.
Oh, fuck.
I know.
You know what, though? I mean, if you picture yourself in their shoes, there's some guy like bleeding profusely. Just like, I would be like, I don't know what the fuck. I'm not just going to be like, I don't know who you are or how you got, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
It's obviously a dangerous situation. I think this is like a huge indicator of kind of like the state of people's like mind paranoia in that city, that like at least stay.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I would be like,
call 911 and just like literally in New York, if someone gets hit, like people get hit all the time by cars. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's just not enough room, like bikes and stuff like that. And like the second that happens, people are like all over them and then stay. Like honestly, a lot of times I see people where I'm like, you want to be the hero right now?
Yeah.
I'm so cynical. Like,
Jesus.
Okay, we got it. But then like I'm like, he's fine. But then the ambulance comes to get him, and then people move on.
Right.
But like, it's an individual, so we have no idea the details on it. Also, it's a guy out at 2:30, so like, Lord knows.
Exactly. They probably
we do not know their story. It's just so sad.
It is really sad. Actually, there's a lot of other stories. So famously, I listened to a lot of true crime, and there was this one story that I heard, and I forget the name of the victim, but she survived. She was some guy had like kidnapped her, and he was driving her down this road, and like he had cut off both of her arms and pushed her off this like hill, this like cliff, and she somehow survived. And because like her arms got stuck in the mud, they like, what would you call that? Cauterized?
Yeah,
like the blood stopped because
it like blocked arteries or whatever from bleeding.
So she somehow like makes it up this hill, and you're like, they're telling the story, and you're like, oh my fucking, like, what a badass, like she's gonna make it. And then she saw a car coming down, and so she's trying to flag down this car, and she's like in the middle of the street, and they just whizzed by her, and she was like, and you're like, what the fuck? And then they interview her, and she was like,
she did make it.
She made it. So somebody else came and then did it, but she was like, when that first car whizzed by me, I was like, I'm going to die. And, but she was like, and they were like, how do you feel about those people now? Like that they saw you in the street and didn't bother to stop. And she was like, from their perspective, they were probably fucking freaked out. They probably thought they saw a ghost in the street.
I know. I like, honestly, in that situation, I might think I'm like hallucinating.
Exactly. So she was like,
why would I automatically assume, oh, lady with no arms?
Exactly. So she was like, I hold absolutely no.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Hate in my heart for them, but you know,
it's
pretty intense.
So intense.
Very intense, actually.
Yeah. One detail that I saw on Twitter, so I don't know if this is like valid or not, but apparently he called 911 and they got him like 6 minutes later. That's what they said. That's really fast.
That is really fast.
So I was happy to hear about that, because like, as much as that car driving away is obviously terrible, like maybe
I don't know what they would have done anyway.
You don't know what they would have done, and
I think they would have just
the
sat
fact
there and
that he got there that
probably.
fast. It's not like he was in the middle of nowhere. It was like, yeah. So I feel a little bit better about that, and everyone cares how I specifically feel. It's the most important part. No one cares. So, and then he got to the hospital and he died.
God, be safe out there, everybody. I mean,
know.
This is the worst story I've ever heard.
I'm so sorry, but it's like, I didn't want to do it, but then I was like,
I'm
not.
No, I'm not saying to you. I'm just saying like it's it's just really sad. And really fucking sucks.
It really sucks. So obviously. Okay, so they've not released information on the suspect as of this recording. Obviously, one could assume that this is most likely just based on like the problems they've been having in San Francisco, and mentally ill person.
Yeah.
Well, definitely mentally ill. I don't think any murderer is not, right? Right, I would assume. But then specifically, probably one of the unhoused, let's talk more about Rincon Hill. It's nice, but it's not like amazing. Like, I guess in terms of price, don't get me wrong, they'll take all your money. I was looking at Zillow and it was like for rental, it's $3,500 for a one bed.
Oh my God.
That was like on average,
I
just
would
like
say
scanning through.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
You're right by the park, or there's like a little park right there. You're right by the bridge. So it's like a pretty area for sure. I'm sure there's like plenty of little tourist spots.
Yeah.
In the fucking daytime. There's also a Whole Foods that's not too far away.
That's a good indicator.
I kind of is.
It is.
I looked right away. I was like, where's the nearest Whole Foods? That's what I always do. The Google office is like right there too. Like if you look here, Google's right here.
Wow.
This is the area that he was at. But there are multiple, I mean, it's San Francisco. It's like a fairly dense downtown region. Multiple homeless shelters within. Are we allowed to say homeless?
I don't fucking know. I mean, honestly, no one's checking.
Okay.
Yeah, homeless.
All right. I don't know.
You guys
with
understand.
respect, you got it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Yeah. So that is more than likely the kind of person who unfortunately got him.
Okay. But why do people automatically think that? I would not automatically, but I would be like, I'm not ruling out a hit job.
Yeah.
I'm not ruling anything out until
we'll find out. I just think we don't have enough information now, and like just gauging by like what people have seen, and that was the whole thing. So everyone online like was tweeting about this, like the tech community. Good Lord, do they love making their voices heard?
Oh yeah.
Jack Dorsey himself actually was not tweeting, but did you know, I hadn't actually seen announcements on this, that there is a new basically like Twitter started by him. Like, did I write it down? What the fuck is it called? Hold on, let me look it up. It's somewhere in my notes, but I don't see it right now.
It's a new Twitter? Like a Twitter competitor?
Yeah, but it's open source or something like that.
I don't know what that means.
It's decentralized. So basically what that means is like this Elon Musk situation can't really happen to it because it's like owned by a lot of different people or something like that. It's kind of like Wikipedia is a little bit like that. Not quite. What's another thing that's, I don't know. Doesn't matter. It says it's called Blue Sky, but I saw another name for it. So I feel like there might be like pieces underneath it or something like that.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. We'll probably talk about this in another episode at some point. But anyway, he tweeted, whatever you want to call
Jack
it.
tweeted.
It's not a tweet because it's not on Twitter. But
a Jack Blue Sky.
He did something. So he said, it's real, getting calls, heartbreaking. Bob was instrumental to Square and Cash App. Take that, Wikipedia people. St. Louis guy. Sad.
What a weird message to say after someone's been murdered.
Yeah.
He was instrumental to these two companies. St. Louis guy? What?
I don't know.
Like,
yeah, you had a little bit more compassion, but
that's really weird. I mean, I guess the word heartbreaking's in there, but you would think he'd be like, I'm at a loss for words. You know, condolences to his family. What a fucking strange thing to say, in my opinion.
I don't think these people have like real emotions.
I guess
you
not.
forget that we're talking about like tech founders.
True.
I think this is chat. He chat
GPT'd a message to his family.
How can I sound the most like a robot when I say they're like 2-word sentences. Those are perfect when you want to sound like a human being.
That's so weird.
So a lot of people were tweeting about how great Bob was, and like if you want, you can go and check it out. Like they were sad, but it's all the same thing. Great guy. He's super generous,
etc.
So let's talk about it. San Francisco, is it actually more dangerous? Because there's two like possibilities here. Well, there's probably more. There's infinite possibilities, really. But the two major things is obviously most people think that this was like just an act of random crime.
That's crazy.
Possibly. And then there's definitely the conspiracy people who think that this is related to who think that this might be related to some of the crypto deaths. I do think that's a minority group, but they are out there. So,
I mean, here's the thing: is that there's so many. And we'll get into a few of them, but there's so many crypto and like fringe finance. Like Cash App is a disruptor in the space, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
mobile coin was crypto. That's the one he was at now.
So it is crypto. So I feel like listen, big banks are behind this.
Big banks.
Joe Biden himself.
Joe Biden is where like the video comes out and we're like, no, it's Joe fucking Biden.
Yeah, can you?
What, isn't he busy?
He would be so slow. He'd just be walking with his knife
I'm coming
out.
for you, Bob. Bob's like, is this Joe Biden? Oh, he got me. It's misinformation.
I just feel like it's too. I don't know. A part of me is like, okay, well, he's such a big, powerful person. So I'm like, I feel like they had to have known it was him. But then at the same time, there's a lot of them walking around in San Francisco.
I know.
He could have just been a random guy. Odds are you're gonna kill
get
somebody
someone.
that's somebody.
Yep, absolutely. So I wanted to look more into this because, like, you know, obviously you had a good experience with San Francisco a few weeks ago. I generally really like the city, but I do remember last time I went there, I was like, it's different. Like there's an edge. It seems like there's like new drugs or something because the homeless people there, unhoused people,
Are like feistier.
They're fucking feisty.
Yeah.
New York, I always laugh. A homeless person in New York City could be a small business owner. In any other city, they could own department stores. They could run anything. They could be complete. They're hustlers. They're smart. They're funny sometimes.
They are funny.
They're like legit. I'm like, I would hire one of these guys over any other person in a random Midwest town. Not any, obviously, but I'm making a joke. But
no, for sure though. If I was ever hiring for like customer success, I would definitely hire somebody who used to sell drugs. I mean, they kill it with the customer success.
Yeah, following up.
They're really discreet.
Discreet.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too pushy.
Mm-hmm. They're pretty good. But no, that's so true. And our drug problem, by and large, is heroin. So that
it's a chill one.
They just take a little nap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They just get on the subway and they just take that's like the biggest annoyance for, and obviously, you know, you want them to be safe and stuff like that, but they're just kind of on the subway sleeping on a bench and you're like, I can't sit. All right.
Yeah, they just chill.
Guess I'll stand here.
But this is not San Francisco, but when I was in Salt Lake City, the seemed like anyway, the majority drug was meth. That's a different energy. Okay. Yeah. That is a much different energy. They were aggressive. They would be walking fast, like towards you and behind you. It was like scary.
Yeah. I don't know what the major drugs are in San Francisco, but I feel like it leans more that direction.
I think it's more meth.
I would imagine. I wonder why.
I feel like
why does that come in vogue?
I don't know. I feel like random pockets of California are very methy.
Yeah.
But that's more so
big Breaking Bad fans.
Yeah.
Just movies. This is a really good show.
Yeah. I was actually talking to this again, not San Francisco. I'm just like naming every city except for San Francisco. But I was talking to an LA comic and he said that he went to an open mic that ended up being at a trap house.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And he's like,
hey, an audience is an audience.
Yeah. He goes, so I pull up to this fucking place in Venice and I just realized there's needles everywhere and people are smoking crack. And he was like, what's happening? And he was like, one of them was just a comic.
3 new jokes and I'm getting out of here. Yeah. That is insane.
Yeah. Drugs, man. Don't do them.
Don't do them. San Francisco, is it actually more dangerous? So that was like I was like, okay, I'm going to go and look like what do the actual statistics show? You can also say maybe there's underreporting. So take these with a grain of salt. But it says that most major crimes have fallen thus far in 2023 compared to the same period last year. Violent crimes as a whole have risen slightly by an 18% increase in robberies and a 33% rise in homicides.
What? 33? That's huge.
It feels like a lot. But granted, I will say that it's difficult to like compare small periods of time. So the numbers that we have from like actual like years, we have, I think the latest are the 2021 numbers. The 2022 numbers are still being tabulated, which why does it take them so freaking long?
And wouldn't you think that during the pandemic, everything was like obviously going to be less?
Well, no, it actually went up apparently from 2019.
Huh.
Who knows? So either way, so 2020 in San Francisco, like let's compare it to other cities. 2020, the homicide rate in San Francisco was 5 per 100,000. Chicago has the highest homicide rate by like a lot at 29 per 100,000.
Wow.
29.
Oh, that's so sad.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Good Lord. New
Lori
York.
Lightfoot, what are you doing over there?
Yeah, what is happening? New York is at 6 per 100,000. I thought we'd be higher. I'm a little like...
We're still beating San Francisco.
We have a fucking reputation.
Good for us. Oh, sorry.
Every
Every joke we make on this episode is just in poor taste. Okay, continue.
We know, and we're so sorry. I went into this and I was like, I knew this is gonna be difficult. LA is 9 per 100,000.
Okay,
sure. So 2021, there was some they're not official stats yet to the FBI, but there is word that it went to 7 per 100,000 for San Francisco. So that would put them ahead of us in terms of being dangerous for homicide.
Numbers.
Yeah. So we've got work to do. Granted, we've also had the subway shootings and stuff like that. So I can't imagine. They're scary. I think that's the biggest thing is the scariness rating of these.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Violent crime. Houston. What the hell is happening there? 1,256 rates of violent crime per 100,000 residents in 2020.
Wow.
Compared to, remember Chicago? Killing spree USA? 987 per 100,000.
Okay.
That's considerably less.
It is. Yes.
San Francisco was at 550 per 100,000 that same year. Los Angeles was 722. And New York was 578.
Okay.
We're pretty good.
That's pretty good. Surprisingly.
We are walking here. And we're being safe about it.
We are. We're nice.
We're nice. Burglaries, though. That, I think, is where probably people have the biggest impact. And I think that's where a lot of this perception from, because so far San Francisco's it's in the middle.
Yeah.
It's kind of just there, you know? And maybe the latest crime rates have gone up recently. We don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
It looks at least though that it'll be kind of in the range for an American city.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
Fair enough. Despite what everyone's saying. But burglaries, that's a whole different story. They are out of control.
Really?
The percent increase in 2020 when compared to a baseline of the previous 3 years worth of data, San Francisco in 2020 had a 47% increase in burglaries.
Wow. And does burglary mean muggings in general, or does it mean breaking into your home?
I think that's stealing. Okay. And there is some
from a store or from a person?
I believe both.
Okay.
I believe so. Carjackings is the huge one.
Ooh, okay.
So there's actually it's kind of funny story where there was this lady, the CNN crew had come up from Los Angeles to go and do a story in San Francisco where they went to City Hall to interview some people, from the government to discuss voter discontent because of rampant street crime.
Yeah.
While they were doing this, literally while they were in City Hall having this conversation, their fucking news van had the window smashed, and they had security for this van standing there. I guess the security may have looked away for a second because they figured because they were standing there, no one would try to steal from the van. But the guy went, smashed the window, was trying to take the cameras out of the back.
Oh my God.
And the security had to be what the hell are you doing?
Hey.
Do not do that.
That's insane.
She says got robbed again. I guess this happened before they were doing an interview for CNN. We had security to watch our rental car and crew car. Thieves did this in under 4 seconds. Security stopped the jerks from stealing other bags, but seriously, this is ridiculous.
That is absurd.
Isn't that a little funny?
Do you think that maybe they did that on purpose for a story though?
No.
Okay.
I really don't.
I can't accept anything as true. Nothing.
Unless it's nutritional facts about.
Did I tell you about Mark got his bag stolen out of a car recently?
In San Francisco?
No, in New York City.
Wow.
Yeah. Vintage.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What was it? Was there anything in it?
Yes. So this was probably a year ago or so. He was filming something and they parked somewhere in the East Village, and then whatever, they were a few blocks away. They came back to the car, and 2 backpacks had been stolen, one of which had all of Mark's information, all of his his passports, his wallet, all this
shit.
I don't know about passport, license, whatever. His wallet was in there.
Either way.
And then the film guys got a bunch of really expensive cameras stolen.
No.
Super shitty. Yeah.
Kind of good for those people stealing.
I know, right?
You're oh, jackpot, buddy.
Maybe they started a podcast.
Yeah. Hilarious. Also, it's only funny because Mark's fine. You know,
nobody got hurt.
They're fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I have to keep being I understand.
Listen, we're good people, all right? Just take our word for it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, the vibes are definitely off, and Elon Musk,
I'd say so.
the vibes are off. Elon
Yeah.
Musk came in freaking hot. Don't you worry. He's there to just stoke the flames because he's an agent of chaos.
He is.
He's an agent of chaos. He's ChatGPT chaos version. He tweeted, "Very sorry to hear that. Many people I know have been severely assaulted. Violent crime in SF is horrific, and even if attackers are caught, they're often released immediately. Is the city taking stronger actions to incarcerate repeat violent offenders?" And then tagged the San Francisco government group, Brooke Jenkins. I don't know who that is.
Is that the mayor? Maybe? I don't know. What the
Sure.
fuck?
I
Wow.
don't live there, so I paid no attention to anything beyond my square footage around me.
Correct.
Point being, while we just saw like the stats kind of like don't really support that it's gotten crazier, the
Wait, what?
it's
You
not-
just told me that it increased almost 50%.
oh no burglaries, but he's saying violent crime.
I mean, that is like pretty. That's pretty.
That's not
insane,
violent
though.
crime.
It's not.
Mm-mm. Carjacking is not violent crime.
It's still pretty fucking bad.
It's not great, but
Yeah.
here's the difference. Elon is saying violent crime is rising. So that's my point, is that like everyone
Well,
thinks.
he didn't say it was rising. He just said it's horrific.
Oh yeah. Many
But,
people
yeah.
I know have been severely assaulted. It's implied.
All right, but he didn't outright say it. You
Okay.
gotta give him
Why
credit.
the fuck are you defending Elon Musk right now?
I don't know. Well, I just think it's fucked up that we can't even talk about the fact
No.
that people
I
are-
think it's fine.
Do
I
you know
think
what
that
you know
the
what I mean,
point
though,
is
right?
that the impression right now is that violent crime is going up a lot, and it might be because that's the other point, is that maybe it's not being reported
yeah.
or not. But like technically, the stats don't show that, and so
Okay.
what is the disconnect here? Why?
Yeah.
Because we have someone who did just get murdered. A lot of people get murdered. People get murdered in other cities. But why is the vibe so off
Right.
in San Francisco? And why does everyone's impression is that it is like this? And is it just
Right.
because these people are more vocal?
Yeah.
Because that could be it. Because people in Chicago might just like shut the fuck up and not like report it or like tweet about it all day long.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Well,
could-
I don't know. People are really talking about. There's been a lot of eyes on Chicago, I would say.
Yeah, Chicago's not
Yeah.
a great example. But like I would say like there's shootings and stuff and people aren't frequently like hopping on Twitter.
Right.
It could just be that they're like a really vocal bunch.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Damn. I have heard like anecdotally from people that live there that they're like, I don't feel safe on my block and
Right.
stuff like that. I have heard a lot of like anecdotes. So.
But I'm curious why it like, because I absolutely had that impression and I was so surprised when I looked at these stats and it like really showed that it was like right about in the mix. But
Right.
every fucking article is like just crucifying San Francisco for being violent.
Yeah, I don't know. It is
So
really weird.
so maybe it's just like a really recent uptick. Like I don't know. Meanwhile, Houston 1,256 per 100,000. That's insane.
That is insane.
I don't know. Couldn't tell
And
you.
how'd you feel in Houston? Because you were just there.
I don't know, because you're driving everywhere.
True. Yeah.
And you're not like you literally can't walk around.
right. Like
most
San
places.
Francisco, New York. These are places that you're walking
Walking
around and like
cities.
you're in a subway where you're like, anyone could stab me right now.
Yeah. So
And
either
they'll-
way, what's crazy about this is that I think that this, and like a lot of people online are saying, is going to really impact the Bay Area as a whole and its reputation for tech companies.
Oh.
And that's what I think is like crazy interesting, because it's like whether maybe it's true, maybe it's not. We just genuinely can't say. Like, I don't know. But it doesn't fucking matter because the impact is going to be the same.
Yeah.
Like, and people like not, I don't want to go necessarily.
Right.
The story's top of mind for me. I'm not super fucking interested.
Mm-hmm. Also,
I'll be scared. I would be scared.
Yeah, and I also feel like years ago, people would move to San Francisco for jobs. Like that was a very common thing.
I
that
almost
someone
did.
would
I
move
almost went
a
to
job.
school there.
Right. And now I would be like, first of all, I mean, the work from home thing, I'd be like, why the fuck am I moving where I live for my job anyway?
Yeah.
But secondly, I would be like, I don't want to move there. It seems like it's going to hell in a handbasket. So I don't really want
That's-
to do that.
Absolutely the reputation that's being pushed there. And I don't know. There's a couple different reasons that they say that might have happened. There was a Proposition 47 that said it's no longer like a felony if you steal under $950 worth of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Because like people are going in and shoplifting and all this stuff.
They're doing that here too, though. That's why
They
everything's
are.
locked up.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff doesn't get reported. Nobody reports. So talking to some like random small businesses that were like, oh, we don't report anything. So that could very well just be like everything's super underreported. I don't know.
Yeah. There was a kid growing up who I think he was like 13 and he stole somebody's car and then he lit it on fire. And then and then I never saw him again. He went to juvie.
Wow.
I know. But I remember thinking, I was like,
that's like hard to do.
It's insane. First of all, like I don't know, like just getting the idea to do something like that and then do it. I remember thinking like when I was that age, I was like, what's wrong? Like there's something wrong with like his like moral compass. Like there's something up with this guy. Ooh. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, that's definitely, if your kid's lighting a car on fire, a red flag.
It's a red flag.
It's a red flag. I would look into it. If you're, this is the parenting tip portion of the podcast. Yeah. Kid lighting a car on fire, red flag.
But I remember being like, whoa, dude, that is crazy. Because like, remember like when you're 13 or whatever and like, you know, you'd have a friend that like stole from like Abercrombie and Fitch. And I'd be like, oh my God, you're going to go to jail. Yeah. Like, you're insane. And like, I just did not.
The craziest we had was like, we had a kid, poor guy. I'm sure there was something going on in his home life. He plucked out all his like eyelashes.
Oh.
In school. And we were all like, get this guy some help.
He might have, I think there's like a disease that people, it's like some compulsive disease where they like pick out all of their hairs and stuff. So maybe that's what it was. But for eyelashes, oof.
Wow. I was sitting next to him and I was like, hey, can I get some assistance?
No. Yeah. Let's not do that. Thank you. Okay.
So the whole first theory that is relatively likely and could be confirmed by footage, we don't know yet, is that, you know, it was someone unhoused, some sort of criminal, random stabbing.
Okay.
The second, smaller minority, don't get me wrong, there's no reason to think this beyond the fact that it's just so many of these people, is that potentially, this is like the conspiracy side, that he was murdered due to some sort of nebulous involvement in the crypto community.
Yeah.
There's certainly plenty of drama in that community, and I thought, we don't really know shit about him specifically, but what we do know is some of these other people who have been impacted. So I thought we'd do a little recap.
Let's do it.
Some highlights of some of the people. There were 5 crypto billionaires and millionaires that died in the final weeks of 2022 alone.
Like, what the fuck? I'm sorry. This needs to be bigger news. Because
it's really crazy. Huh? It's really crazy. But you also have to remember a lot of criminals are involved in it because it's an easy way to not be tracked and stuff like that. So it's like chicken or the egg.
I guess.
But let's go through this. This timeline is crazy.
Okay.
Nikolai Mushegian kicks us off.
Okay. I think we've talked about him on the podcast
We've mentioned him.
Okay.
I believe. October 28th, 2022. He was 29 years old. He died hours after a paranoid Twitter post expressing fears that the CIA and Mossad were going to murder him. This is him.
Okay.
So his tweet was from his account, Delete Shitcoin. CIA and Mossad and Pedo Elite, it's always pedos, are running some kind of sex trafficking, entrapment, blackmail ring out of Puerto Rico and Caribbean islands. That's why I was like, oh, do we know the thing about an island?
No.
They were going to frame me with a laptop planted by my ex-girlfriend who was a spy. They will torture me to death.
What the fuck?
A couple hours later, he was found dead on a Puerto Rican beach, just hours after tweeting that. I will say that he is known to have mental health problems, and his family did not believe that there was any foul play.
So did they do an autopsy? Like, is there a cause of death? He drowned.
He drowned. Oh yeah, the beach is like a pretty dangerous beach that he was on too.
Oh, okay.
But also,
I don't know. I mean, who knows?
I don't know. What if we just did? No, I'm like, well, actually, I got to the bottom of this and I solved the case.
Wow. I mean,
anyway,
freaky as hell.
Definitely interesting.
Yeah.
So that's number 1. Number 2, we've got Tiantian Kullander. Wow, fantastic pronunciation, Laura. November 23rd, 2022. So right about a month, a little bit less than a month later.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
He was the co-founder of Amber Group, 30 years old, died unexpectedly in his sleep on November 23rd. I know.
I'm sorry. Why are all these healthy, smart, like 30-somethings dying? Like, this is fucking weird.
Yeah. He was known as TT. He began his career as a trader at Goldman and Morgan. He launched Amber Group in 2017, and he had $3 billion valuation after scoring a $200 million funding round. This is a little fun callback, was in Forbes 30 Under 30 in 2019, the same year as Charlie Javice.
Wow.
I know. So he was
my
survived by
gosh.
his wife and young son.
Oh no.
I know.
Oy, oy, oy.
I know. This next one, Javier Biosca, November 22nd, 2022. He was found dead in Spain. He was being investigated at the time for the biggest cryptocurrency fraud in Spain. He was 50 years old. He was had a background in running small local businesses, web designer, blah, blah, blah. He was I guess a pretty chill dude. And he just said that he was going to give everyone investment returns of up to 25% per week, which is impossible, as we know. That's if someone says that, it is a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
100%. So he was running a Ponzi scheme. This one I feel like he probably got offed by someone who was part of the Ponzi scheme.
But it's unsolved.
It is technically unsolved.
I mean, that's
Well,
crazy.
apparently they said it was a suicide. He apparently jumped from the 5th floor of a hotel in Spain, but as we know, there's a lot of suicides by people who are having issues with, I guess the Russian and Bulgarian mobsters were part of the group he had defrauded. So he got suicided.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I think whether it was an actual suicide or a suicide, I understand what happened here more.
Yeah.
He had spent 8
You
months in
pissed some
jail.
people off.
He pissed off mobsters
Yeah.
and was either scared and killed himself or, yeah. Anyway. So that one makes a little bit more sense. That's number 3, but the timeline, insane.
Insane.
TT was at November 23rd. He was November 22nd.
Wow.
And then on November 25th was Vyacheslav, I messed that one up, Taran. He is 53. It was. He was in Switzerland. This is him right here. He's, I think, Russian or Ukrainian. I'm not sure. Again, a whole group of people involved in this where I'm like, Lord knows. But apparently he died after the helicopter he was riding in crashed near the resort town of something in Switzerland.
Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The helicopter crashed in clear weather during a daylight flight, and the second passenger who was to be on the flight canceled at the last minute.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. This seems to be foul play.
But, I mean, I agree. But at the same time, I mean, wasn't there a pilot on there, too, that had died?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a great point.
Because it'd be like, all right, well, if you want to try to off this guy, can you do it when I'm not flying the plane?
Flying the plane? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he died, but either way, I can understand that this one he was somehow involved in laundering Russian funds, and that's a whole different subsection of things that are going to occur to you.
Mm-hmm.
December 30th, 2022. Park Mo. He was the vice president of Vident Inc., the largest shareholder of South Korean cryptocurrency exchange Bithumb. He was found dead in front of his house in the early morning. He was under investigation at the time for his death for allegedly embezzling funds at the company and just manipulating stock prices.
Wow.
So I also couldn't find any pictures of him, which is, I guess,
That's really weird.
maybe if I knew how to fucking type in South Korean,
I guess.
maybe I'd be able to look him up, but I don't.
I mean, still, that's very strange.
I know.
Wow. And then also I did that episode on, I think I did an episode on him. I did the episode on, I'm forgetting his name.
Gerald Cotton.
Yes, Gerald Cotton.
So yes, absolutely. There's one other one who, the ones that we've talked about so far don't have definitive. They're these weird suicides or things like that. We were
it's just so weird
shady.
that it's like this fringe industry, and it seems to be extremely dangerous.
Yeah,
and people are going missing, and it's really, really insane.
I know.
Are this many people being offed and or suicided in the regular banking system? I'd like to, you know what I
think
mean?
it's part of the reason is you can use it's going to have a few more unsavory characters that get involved.
Yeah.
So just because of the nature of how this works, it's more anonymous, blah, blah, blah.
A lot of money laundering going on.
Yeah, it opens up these possibilities. And as a result, the people who are automatically going to take advantage of those nice benefits are more likely to suicide you. Mircea Popescu, this one was an interesting one. This was in 2021, so it was so long ago. He was a Romanian Bitcoin investor, had a fortune about $2 billion and in 30,000 Bitcoin, and he drowned off the coast of Costa Rica.
Wow.
Saying that he'd been swept away by the current. So kind of similar to how that other guy died.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe he did drown, but you'd think he'd learn to swim. So those are the ones that, like, what was that, like 6 or something?
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like sus.
Yeah.
There are a few with more normal, or at least clear. Gerald Cotton was kind of the first one of those where we've already talked about it. We did a whole episode. If you missed it, go check it out because it's literally its own story.
It's a long.
But the highlight of it is like they've done a documentary on Netflix about it. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
He went to India after his Ponzi scheme, Quadriga, got revealed, and I think they say he died there. I think he got plastic surgery and lives amongst us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we don't know. The other one that seemed like that was in 2018 also, so that was before this like wave came through, was Matthew Mellon. He was also in 2018, and this guy's pretty interesting actually. He was like a businessman, had a bunch of money from crypto, various ways. I didn't do the whole thing, but he was like really like fairly famous.
Oh.
Yeah, his first wife was Tamara Mellon, who was the co-founder of Jimmy Choo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
she's got her own line now. It's pretty good.
there you go. And so like his first wedding had like Hugh Grant and Liz Hurley went to it.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like a celebrity. He was also, when he died, dating one of the Kennedys, one of the daughters of the Kennedys. Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So he died in Cancun right before he checked into rehab. He had hundreds of $millions in crypto that apparently went missing after this. So maybe there was foul play, but like, again, it's a little bit more like,
Yeah.
I don't know. For whatever reason, this one makes more sense to me. He also apparently had a heart attack due to he had just done ayahuasca.
Oh.
Well, if you're in rehab, maybe that's not the right moment to
do ayahuasca.
To test yourself with ayahuasca.
Yeah,
It's a very intense experience, as I've been told.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the all of these deaths have given rise to like a ton of different conspiracy theories. They're already kind of rumbling about Bob Lee. I don't know if he has enough like crypto juice. Like I don't know how much money he has, but like I don't know why they'd be doing all this. I don't know what he was involved in. We might find out more. We'll keep an eye on it. But at this point, like all we know is that there's a group of people who think it might have been that. Majority of people who think it's because San Francisco is like Satan's butthole now or something like that. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, I don't have answers for you. I'm just telling you what's what in terms of what people are saying.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Wow. Well, I think that there's more to this story. I think if it was as cut and dry as it sounds and as it's being portrayed right now, I think there would be some sort of CCTV footage somewhere.
Well, here's the problem. I'm almost certain that CCTV footage is either going to be a problem demographically and not helping the cause for whatever they're trying to push. San Francisco, they're very sensitive about those things.
Right.
Or maybe you're right. Maybe there is like a broader something and
Maybe
they're
there's
not
something
able to
going on.
release it yet because they're doing a fucking investigation, you know?
Right.
So,
Because that's how it
but we'll
goes.
find out. It'll come out at some point. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, and obviously it's so sad.
It's
Crazy
terrible, yeah.
Bob.
That it's freaky. It's some Final Destination shit where like he was only in town for the day. Where
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
that is really
I know.
something.
Chief product officer at MobileCoin. Crazy.
R.I.P. That is really
That's a story for you.
really scary.
I know. We next time I'm gonna be doing some bullshit. I'll probably do like conspiracies on the Barbie movie. Or
Oh, for
something.
sure, for sure.
I'm gonna do the lightest, fluffiest topic next time.
I know.
Just you wait.
That is like this type of story really I think I almost want it to be premeditated because that way I'll be less freaked out, because this idea that you're just walking down the street someday after you're had a few beers with some friends or whatever and some guy just comes up and stabs you in the chest, some random person, I would be like,
I have a lot of
"What?"
friends that live there. It's
Yeah.
kind of scary. I mean, so I kind of, it's weird. I agree. I kind of am like, I hope it was premeditated.
I do.
And not just like San Francisco's crazy now.
Yeah, that seems very, I don't know.
Or just,
I don't know.
Anyway,
If
if you live there, stay safe. Obviously, if you live in Chicago,
live
also
anywhere,
stay safe.
I mean, genuinely, if you live anywhere, every single Dateline starts with, "It never happened here. People didn't even lock their fucking doors in this neighborhood." And then,
And then there was a murder dungeon.
Exactly.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it's a little bit darker than our normal, but we did our best, or I did my best, and we started some new conspiracy
great job.
theories. So I hope you all enjoy those. And like and subscribe, tell 3 friends. And anything else?
Follow us on Instagram.
Follow
And
us on
please tell your friends about the YouTube. We're open to subscriptions.
Yes, we are open.
Please subscribe.
Our YouTube legs are open for you.
Oh.
Hey!
Wide open.
Wide
All
open. All right, enjoy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.